Okay, today our topic is going to be a little understood but very known subject matter, and that being balance and stability, and what the difference between the two are, even though many coaches and trainers interchangeably use the words, they're actually very different. All right, so first and foremost, balance is the ability to control our body while we're moving. All right, the ability to maintain upright position while we're moving. Stability is more joint focused, and it's the ability to maintain our position while trying to prevent movement. All right, so balance is a constantly ongoing effect of while we're doing activity. Stability is an ongoing act while trying to prevent that act. Okay? Meaning we don't want to fall while we're trying to stand on unstable surfaces, is how we generally have that play out in training. All right? So you see behind me, I actually have a few different methods for doing stability work. And we can sort of increase or train balance work with those, but they are mostly focused on stability. All right? So for this purpose, let's go over what we're talking about, and I'm going to get back here and show you what I mean. All right, so balance, our body has a natural center of gravity, which is about halfway, so that half of our body is on one side and half of our body is on the other. We have natural acts that we go through in order to maintain that center of gravity and our natural balance, okay? Walking being a very easy explanation of that. As we walk, opposite hand comes forward as the leg, same hand swings back so that it's even with my foot. Okay, so as I walk, we have our natural gait, which is a method for maintaining balance. A easy training protocol for that is as you go forward, some part of you needs to go backwards, and we train that. A very easy drill to do is like a pickup exercise where you're simply going down to the ground, picking up an object, and returning to upright position. We do it all the time with tennis balls. But if you'll notice, as my upper body moves forward, I have an opposite movement to maintain my balance. So I'm maintaining my balance while I'm moving. Okay? So there are any number of exercises you can use, but what we want to understand with balance training is the natural component of opposite movement directionals. Meaning one part moves one way, one part moves the opposite. Okay? A squat, in order to maintain my natural center of gravity, as I go down, my butt, my hips are going to go slightly back. Generally speaking, because of that, my chest will come slightly forward. Athletic ready position is slight forward lean, hips slightly backwards. I now have my lower center of gravity, natural balance point. Okay, same when I'm about to jump. I want to raise up and jump. I'm in a balanced position. So in order to practice and improve our balance, we want to work on and understand the natural opposite effect called displacement. As one moves one way, the opposite will move the opposite way, and we'll maintain our balance. All right? So, walking, running, side jumping like a skater, right? See how this goes here and this upper body's going with me? My foot might come out this way and my arm might do this. Okay, now I'm here, but this leg keeps going farther and farther out. The farther I lean this way, the more that this leg's going to do this. Okay, see how I stay balanced? Now if I do this, See how I'm slightly leaning? This leg can go farther and farther. Eventually I might lose my balance. Balance is about opposite directionals to oppose the movement of what you're doing. The movement. Stability is generally eliminating a stabilizing point to focus on a particular joint, to force the joint to get better at maintaining its position, meaning the opposite of balance, it's preventing movement. So as I stand on one leg, I'm trying to prevent my body from moving around by maintaining this stability. Okay? These can become very easy very quickly, which is why we might use unstable surfaces such as a balance pad. Okay? We can sit on these, stand on these, lay on these, but a lot of times what we'll do is we'll just be here. Now, I'm trying to maintain to the most degree ankle stability. I get a little bit of knee and a little bit of hip, but notice how when I do it right, I'm not really moving as I'm just trying to adjust a little bit to keep my ankle stability. Okay? We also have BOSUs. First and foremost, back up a little bit. If you're not ready for an unstable surface, meaning if you haven't mastered the control to begin with, don't add in unstable surfaces. They're a progressive improvement or a skills that has to be learned first. They're more advanced. I can make it a little bit more advanced by doing it on a BOSU. Okay? And we see this one all the time. Squats on a BOSU, which is what made me think about it. Until you've mastered a squat, don't squat on a BOSU. There's really not much true purpose of squatting on a BOSU, even though people like to do it. It looks cool, it looks fashionable, it looks fun. Okay, you can do side lunges onto a BOSU, which now my ankle is stabilizing, my knee is stabilizing, stability, my hip. Okay, and then I can add a balance component of pushing off. Stabilize and into balance. See how this is opposite of this? So you can combine the two components, not necessarily at the same time, but you can work into stability, into balance work, and marry them together and you'll be okay. But they are opposite components, okay? Now, we love to do core work while trying to stabilize, something like balancing on a gym ball to force our spine to stabilize, our shoulders to stabilize, and we can even get a little bit of movement, and now I'm really stabilizing, okay? And that can be good core work, but I'm not really moving as I'm trying to prevent movement, all right? So, don't necessarily recommend this at home, but this really hammers home the point. I can get on the ball, okay, and be here. Now, do you really think I want the ball moving? No, I want to keep the ball stable, and I want to prevent it from moving, or else as it moves, the risk of my injury, which is why we don't recommend doing that at home, or with anyone, is greatly significantly increased because the movement is telling me I need to balance while I'm trying to be stable, which is trying to prevent movement. It's almost like those two guys are opposing forces that can't necessarily be done well at the same time. You can marry them into a exercise, stability here, and now I have to balance, but not necessarily done well at the same time. All right? So, balance, the ability to maintain control while moving. Stability, the ability to maintain control while trying to prevent movement. Usually done with unstable surfaces because most people progress very quickly past the hey, I'm just standing on one leg aspect of stability work. Okay? Both are great for athletes and both serve their purpose, but once again, when training athletes, understand what the purpose of the sport is. Sports like football, where you're getting pushed while trying to maintain control, has a big stability factor. They also have a balance factor because you're constantly moving. All right? Not every sport truly requires stability. Every sport really does have some balance factor. But remember, with balance work, allow for the opposite directional movement to take place, because that's how we naturally work on our balance, okay? Throwing off our balance or our natural desire to be balanced, if we do something that's outside of that norm, isn't necessarily a way to train balance, because our natural inclination is to maintain it naturally through opposite directional movements, like go low and go high, go left and go right, stuff like that. All right? So remember this when you're creating programs, working with your athletes. When we're doing stability, we want small movements or small controls trying to prevent movement. And with balance, even if we go big one direction, we have to go big in the opposite. So big movements are okay, but the key being they are movements. All right? So balance, maintaining control while moving. Stability, maintaining control while trying to prevent movement. All right? That's all I have for today. Take this out. Go use it to the best of your abilities. Hopefully it helps with your athletes and kids. I'm sure they'll love it. All right? Thank you very much.